Okay, guys, welcome. Today we're going to talk about ratio and proportion. Okay, so the first thing that we need to discuss is what do we mean by a ratio? So a ratio is simply thought of as a comparison of two numbers with division, right? So that's how we sort of interpret what a ratio is. Okay, so let's look at a basic example. So in example one, we have that the entire stock of a small photography store consists of 75 Kodak and 60 Polaroid cameras. In part A, we want to know what is the ratio of Kodak to Polaroid cameras. And we'll compare them with division, of course, right? So if we compare these two, we have 75 for Kodak and 60 for Polaroid. And of course, we could simplify this fraction. We could divide the top and the bottom each by 5. And it looks like we're going to get a 12 in the bottom and a 15 in the top. So it looks like we could actually take it one step further and divide the top and bottom by 3, and we'll get a 5/4. Right? And what this really means is that for every 5 Kodak cameras, there's 4 Polaroids. Now in part B, they want Polaroid to the total stock, or the entire stock. Well, Polaroid is given, that's just 60 again. But the total is adding these two together, 60 and 75. So it's 60 over 135, right? And of course, we could simplify again here, and I think we could actually get away with dividing by 15 in this case, right? And if we do that, this would be a 4 up top here, and I believe in the bottom, we should end up with a 9. If we do 9 times 15, we'll get a 135. So for every 4 Kodak cameras, there's 9 Kodak and Polaroid. Or we could say for every 9 cameras, on average, 4 of them will be Kodaks. Or these are Polaroid, sorry. Okay. Next example, the American alligator is an endangered species. On an American alligator reserve, there are 600 females and 900 males. Okay, we want to find the ratio of the following. So first, we want to find the ratio of male to female. So that's 900 over 600, which of course we can ultimately reduce to 3/2. All right. B is females to males. So that would be 600 over 900, which of course is 2/3. And then for part C, females to total number of alligators, you have 600 over 600 plus 900. So we get a 600 over 1500. So we can ultimately reduce that to, it should be a 2/5. Okay, so those are a couple more ratios. Okay, now ratios have a wide application of use, especially when it comes to word problems. All right, they're going to allow us to set up some equations that can be solved. So for example, in part A, we're told that the length and width of a rectangular room are in the ratio 3/4. Right, so we'll say that this is the, let's say this is the width and this is the length so that it's somewhat to scale. Right, and we know that if I take the length divided by the width, that's in the ratio of 3/4. All right. Now, one thing that we have here is that this ratio, when we ultimately reduce it, is 3 times 4. So it's 3 times something and 4 times something. So we're going to call that x. All right. Now, if the perimeter of the room is 70 feet, we want to know what are the dimensions of the room. Well, we're saying that the length is 3x and the width is 4x. And of course, the perimeter would be the width, 2 times the width plus 2 times the length, which in this case is 2 times 4x plus 2 times 3x. So my perimeter is equal to 8x plus 6x, which is 14x. And we're told that the perimeter is 70. So this tells me that x is equal to 5. So now I can go back up to this original ratio that we formed, and we can get that the length is 3 times 5, which is 15, and the width is 4 times 5, which is 20. So the 15 is the length and the 20 is the width. Okay, in part B, we have that the ratios of two angles of a triangle to the smallest angle are 1 to 2 and 1 to 3. Right, so we have some small angle, and then one of them is 1 to 2 and the other one is 1 to 3. All right, and again, what does that mean? That your small over your one angle is 1 over 2, one angle. And again, it's 1 times something, 2 times something. So we get another angle is 2x. And of course, similarly, the other one is 3x. So this tells me that x plus 2x plus 3x equals how many degrees in a triangle? 180. So we get 6x is 180. So x is equal to 30. So if the small angle is x, the next angle is 2x, and the large angle is 3x, then the small angle is 30 degrees, the middle angle is 60 degrees, and the big one's 90 degrees. Okay, so that's the solution for that one. Okay, now that we've talked about ratios, we can now talk about proportions, right? Now, when you have two ratios that are set equal to each other, they form what's called a proportion, right? And of course, these are also very useful in word problems. Now, to solve a proportion, this is where you cross multiply. Right? So if you have something like x over 12 is equal to 4 over 9, what you could do is you could multiply both sides by the LCD, but a quicker way to do this is just to cross multiply. Right? So if you cross multiply, right, because what you're really doing is you're multiplying both sides by 9 and multiplying both sides by 12, but you get the cancellation. So you really are multiplying by the LCD, but we're sort of taking a shortcut. But anyway, we get that 9x is equal to 48, and this would give me that x is equal to, let's see, 48 over 9. That doesn't work out well, does it? So we just say 48 over 9. Okay. So in part B, we have that 3 over r minus 1 is equal to 1 over 4. So now when we cross multiply, we're going to get that r minus 1 times 1, so in this case just r minus 1 is equal to 12, so we get r is equal to 13. All right, now a good way that you can check this is to plug this in, and you get 3 over 12 is equal to 1/4. And of course, these are equivalent fractions, so then you know that you did this right, right? So you'll always get equivalent fractions there. Okay, and then for part C, we have a 4 over 2 is equal to 2r over 5. So when we cross multiply here, we'll get a 4r is equal to 20, so r is equal to 5. Okay. So now let's check out some word problems that involve some proportions. So we have that ABC University has determined that the student to teacher ratio of 19 to 2 is ideal. All right, so we know that there's going to be 855 students next fall, and we want to know how large should the teaching staff be. Okay, so in part A, we have that the student to teacher ratio is equal to 19 over 2, right? And of course, it's 19 times something over 2 times something, but we're not interested in the something this time. We're interested in, if we have 855 students, what number needs to go down here, right? So of course, this is where we cross multiply again. So we need to do 2 times this number equals 19 times x. We get 19 times x is equal to 2 times 855, which should give us, if I am correct, I believe, so it's 1710, I think. So we get a 1710. And if we divide that by 19, we get that X is equal to 90. So that means that we need 90 teaching staff, 90 members of the teaching staff if we have 855 students and want to maintain this student-teacher ratio. Okay. Now in part B, we're told that 4 out of every 5 homes in suburban Philadelphia has 2 telephones. So we have 4 out of 5, 2 telephones, and this is total. Okay. Now we're told that 25,000 new homes will be built, so that's total. And we want to know how many of those will have 2 telephones. So you always want to keep everything lined up. So now when we cross multiply, we're going to get a 5x is equal to 4 times 25,000, which is 100,000. And if we divide by 5, we're going to get that x is equal to 20,000. So out of 25,000 new homes, we can expect 20,000 to have 2 telephones. Okay, I believe this is the last example. Yeah. So in part A, we have that a landscaping service advertised that the cost of sodding a 1,500 square foot area is $240. Okay, and we want to know what is the proportional cost of sodding an area of 3,500 square feet. So we're told that the cost is $240 for 1,500 square feet. We want to know what's going to happen as far as the cost goes for a 3,500 square foot area. Well, if we cross multiply, we're going to get that 1,500x is equal to 3,500 times 240, which let's go ahead and let's punch this in the calculator here. So if we do that, let's see, 240 times 3,500, that will give us an 840,000. And then if we divide that by 1,500, we're going to get that x is equal to 560. Okay, so if you wanted to sod 3,500 square feet, then based on 1,500 square feet of being 240, you can expect to pay 560. Okay, and then finally, part B, we have that a cost of an airplane flight of 600 miles is $75. So we'll put cost over the miles again. And we want to know what is the proportional cost for a flight of 1,600 miles. So again, we'll cross multiply, and we'll get a 600x, and then is equal to 75 times a 1,600, which if we do that will give us a 120,000. And then if we divide both sides by 600, right, cancel 2 of your zeros with 2 of these zeros, and we're going to get that x is 1,200 divided by 6, which should give us a 200. So it would cost $200 to make a 1,600 mile flight. Okay, so that concludes this video on ratio and proportion. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.